You ever look at a really long word and just feel a little intimidated? Well, it turns out there's this secret code hidden inside our language, and it makes even the most complex words surprisingly simple. So today, we're going to crack that code. We're going to find the atoms of meaning.
Okay, so take a word like this one, unhelpfulness. At first glance, it just looks like a jumble of letters, right? But it's not. It's a puzzle. And like any good puzzle, once you know the rules, you can solve it, no problem. The real question is, what are the rules? All right, so here's the big secret. The thing that changes everything. Words aren't just random strings of letters thrown together. Nope. They are built piece by piece, almost like a building. There's a system here, a real logic to how they're made.
That's right. It's not magic, it's a system. And that means every single long word you see is built from smaller, meaningful parts. So once you learn to see these little building blocks, you stop just memorizing words and you start understanding them from the inside out.
And this next idea really just hits the nail on the head. We all learn that letters are kind of like the atoms of spelling, right? But there's a whole other layer, a deeper one. And this quote says it all. If letters are the atoms of spelling, morphemes are the atoms of meaning. That's it. That's the key right there.
So, let's officially meet the star of the show, the key that's going to unlock this whole hidden code inside every word. It is time to talk about the morpheme.
And here's what it is. It's actually pretty simple. A morpheme is the smallest unit of meaning in a word. I'm going to say that again. The smallest possible piece of a word that still carries its own meaning. It's not about how it sounds, it's all about meaning. Just let that sink in for a sec.
Now, this is probably the most important thing to get straight, because it's where a lot of people get mixed up. A morpheme is not a syllable. You think a syllable is a unit of sound. A morpheme is a unit of meaning. Let's look at the word cats. Say it out loud. Cats. That's one syllable, right? Just one beat of sound. But it has two units of meaning. You've got cat, which, is the furry animal, and you've got that S on the end, which means more than one. See, two morphemes, one syllable. Big difference.
Okay, so if we're thinking about building words with these things, with these morphemes, what kind of Lego blocks do we actually have to work with? Well, it turns out there are really only two main types.
And here they are, free morphemes and bound morphemes. Think of it like this. A free morpheme is a word all by itself. It can stand alone, and it's got the core of the word's meaning. A bound morpheme, on the other hand, is kind of clingy. It can't stand alone. It has to attach to a root, like a prefix or a suffix, and its job is to change or modify that core meaning.
So here are some super clear examples of free morphemes. Just look at words like book, walk, happy, act, care. They're all complete, meaningful words all on their own. They don't need any help. They are the solid foundation that we build everything else on.
And here are their partners, the bound morphemes. Now these should look really familiar. We're talking about prefixes like un or suffixes like ing, ed, full, ness. They are packed with meaning, for sure. Un means not, full means full of, but they've got to be attached to a free morpheme to do their job. Okay, so we've got our building blocks. We know what they are. But, knowing the parts is one thing. Seeing how they combine, that's where this knowledge becomes a legit superpower for learning. This is where things get really, really cool.
I absolutely love this quote from our source material because it's just so true. It says, "This is where vocabulary explodes." And it does. Once you get how free and bound morphemes play together, your ability to understand new words doesn't just grow, it literally explodes.
Okay, let's watch it happen. Let's start with one simple root, a free morpheme like act. Now let's add a bound morpheme, a suffix. Act plus ion gives us action. Simple enough. How about a prefix? Re plus act becomes react. Now let's combine them all. Re plus act plus ion. Boom, reaction. And from there, you can build this whole family of words. Active, activate, actor, the list goes on. You didn't just learn a bunch of words. You learned one root and the system for building with it.
So why does any of this matter? Why is cracking this code actually important in the real world? Well, it's not just some cool trick for grammar nerds. It fundamentally changes how your brain deals with language. And here it is. This is the knockout punch. The research shows that kids who are taught to see and understand morphemes, they learn 4 times more vocabulary than kids who don't. Let me repeat that.
4 times. That's the difference between just blindly memorizing words and, intelligently decoding the patterns.
And the payoff for all of us is just huge. Think about it. When you see a new, long, maybe academic-sounding word, you don't panic anymore. You attack it. You break it down into its meaningful parts. And this leads to way deeper comprehension. Spelling starts to make more sense, and you get this huge boost in confidence and fluency when you're reading.
So from now on, when you see a long word, don't just see a jumble of letters. Look for the structure. Find the root, look for the prefixes, hunt for the suffixes, because that's where the real story is. Remember this, meaning hides inside structure. And now you have the key to unlock it.